Hi, welcome back to this YouTube channel. Lately I've been getting a lot of, messages, emails, asking me, hey, Judith, how can I immigrate to Canada? Judith, how can I come, visit my family member, a friend in Canada, And I just said, okay, I think the best thing I'll do is, create a short YouTube video showing you how. I think I'll just focus first on how you can come to Canada as a visitor, coming here to see if this place is really for you, right? So let's get started. I'm just gonna show you that on my screen, and then I hope this helps you. So again, Google is your friend. Just type Ircc and then you get some options. Here you see immigration, refugees, and citizenship Canada. So this is what you want. And then it brings you to their website. So your goal is to apply as a visitor, right? Your goal, you're trying to kind of get information that can help you apply for a visitor's visa. So let's see what's here on the website. Visit. So here you get to see the services and the information. But then you're focused on applying as a visitor, or you want to get information that pertains to, visitors, basically people visiting Canada. So click on visit. I think I'll just focus this video on, so you're reuniting with your family members. You want to come here to visit family members. You want to come here to, just to see if this place is for you. You come here as a visitor. So let's click reunite with family members. Aha, coronavirus. There are some instructions you have to, follow. There's information here for you to read, for you to understand. So let's look at the information here. So if you want to reunite with or accompany a family member to Canada, I think as of January 15th, 2022, they were issuing some kind of authorization letters, but it says here that we no longer issue these letters. So we're no longer issuing letters to reunite family members. So as a foreign person, you would need to qualify as a fully vaccinated traveler. Basically, you have to be fully vaccinated, or you would need to qualify for an exemption. Now, I don't know what that exemption is, but you have to figure that out. Okay, so here you can find out who can enter Canada. But before we do that, let's look at who is eligible to reunite with family. So who is eligible to reunite with family? So if you're trying to come here to kind of reunite or to visit your immediate family member or members, say you're 18 years of age or you're over 18 years of age, you must qualify for the fully vaccinated traveler exemption. So basically you have to be fully vaccinated, or you must again meet some other exemption requirements. Now, if you're below 18 or you're a dependent adult and you're not fully vaccinated, you would need certain documents to demonstrate that you meet an exemption to travel, right? You meet an exemption when you travel, basically. Okay, so if you have to come here again to visit a family member, there are documents that you would have to provide, right? So the documents to prove immediate family status and your relationship. You can't just say, oh, I'm coming here to visit my brother. You have no brother here. No. You have to, even if you have a brother here, you have to prove, that yes, that person is really your brother, or that person is really your sister, or that person is really your mother, father, husband, wife, whatever. Okay, so there are two types of documents. You have to show one that proves your immediate family member's status as a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, as it says here, or a person registered under the Indian Act. So you have to show that the person you're coming to visit is a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or someone registered under the India Act. You also need another document that shows your relationship with that person, with that family member. So what kind of document can you provide? What document would prove your family member's status in Canada? And what document will prove your relationship with that person? So if you have to prove, well, you would have to do that actually. So for proof of your immediate family member's status in Canada, You have to provide that person's Canadian passport or proof of Canadian citizenship, or the person's permanent resident travel document, or a secure certificate of Indian status, or temporary confirmation of registration document. So is it a Canadian passport or a Canadian citizenship document or a Canadian permanent resident card, or a secured certificate of Indian status. You just have to bring something that shows that person has the right to stay here in Canada. So that person, I mean the family member you're coming to visit. Also, now you have to prove your relationship with that family member. And how can you do that? If you're coming to visit, say, your spouse, then you would bring a marriage certificate or proof of common law status. This would, suffice. You can also use your birth certificate to show that if that proves your relationship with that person. You have confirmation of permanent residence or one of the following. So there are several other things. Just read through this part. Okay, remember, this is if you're coming to visit your immediate family member, right? But say you're coming to see an extended family member and you're over 18 years of age. Again, you must qualify for the fully vaccinated traveler exemption, right? So you must be fully vaccinated, or you must meet some exemption requirements that has been set. Okay, so if you're under 18 years of age and you're not fully vaccinated, you must complete a statutory declaration form. And again, make sure that you have the correct version, and you make sure to bring that version when you travel. So bring the form when you travel to Canada. So how do you complete that form? You have the required information here. You can actually take some time to read through the information provided here. So before you travel to Canada, note, all travelers entering Canada must follow testing and quarantine requirements to keep everyone safe. Under certain conditions, you may be exempt from some of these requirements. If you're exempt, I believe they'll tell you. Okay, now if you want to find out about the pre-entry testing and quarantine requirements, just go ahead and click this. But that's not what I want to do now. Let's see who can enter Canada. Let's see who can, visit Canada. So find out if you can enter Canada. A few questions to basically answer to see if you are eligible, I want to believe, to come in. So let's see. Let's answer these few questions to find out if you may be allowed to enter Canada. So first, are you a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or a person registered under the Indian Act, or a protected person? Basically, if you're a Canadian citizen, you wouldn't need a visa, right, to come back into Canada. If you're a permanent resident, you wouldn't need a visa to come into Canada, except if there's something wrong somewhere. Anyways, so are you? So I'm assuming that you are not a Canadian citizen, no, a permanent resident. So you're a foreign national. So let's click on this and then continue. So have you received at least 2 COVID-19 vaccine doses, or a combination of at least 2 doses? So basically, select the option that best fits you, that best fits your situation. So let me just say you took the Moderna one. This is just me picking just one, the Moderna shot. Then go ahead and click continue. Okay, so we've indicated that you're a foreign national and you've had a series of accepted COVID-19 vaccinations. So another question for you: was your second COVID-19 vaccine dose at least 14 days before the day you plan to enter Canada? Or was your single dose of Johnson & Johnson vaccine at least 14 days before? So I'm just going to assume that, again, I'm just showing you this so that you can, figure out if you're eligible to come to Canada, and if you are, find out how to apply to come here to visit your family member. Okay, so let's just say you've had that for more than 14 days, right? So we'll click yes and then continue. Okay, so it says based on the answers you have provided, you will likely be allowed to enter Canada. However, the final determination will be made by a government official at the point of entry. At the port of entry. So again, that even having a visitor's visa doesn't guarantee that when you come to Canada, you'll be allowed to enter Canada, right? A government official will determine that at the port of entry. Now you figured out that you will likely be allowed to enter Canada. So the next thing is to see if you need a visa, right, or not. So it's either you need a visa or you need an electronic travel authorization. So unless you're a citizen of the United States, find out if you need a visa or electronic travel authorization. So let's click on this, see. Okay, so most people need a visa or an ETA to travel to Canada, not both. So it's either you get a visa or you get an ETA. So some people may only need their valid passport. So answer these few questions to see what's right for you. Let's just go through this question. So I'm just going to assume that you're Nigerian because I am. So this is just for me to show you how to fill this form. If you're not Nigerian, just pick your own country of origin and just do the same thing, right? So let's assume that you're Nigerian and you're trying to apply for a visitor's visa, right? Because in this case, you would need a visitor's visa, not an ETA. But let's see. That's what I think. But yeah, let's see. This will tell you what you really need. So what travel documents do you plan to use to travel to Canada? So say you have a passport, you click passport. Next question. Select the country code that matches the one on your passport. So the one on the passport you're going to use to come to Canada, select the country code. So if we search, I think I can just, okay, maybe type Nigeria. Oh, see? Okay. Next question. Are you a dual Canadian citizen? And this basically means, are you a citizen of Canada and another country? Again, I'm going to assume that you're just a citizen of Nigeria. So you are not a citizen of Canada and another country. So no. Are you a lawful permanent resident of the US, so United States? And do you have official proof of this status, such as green card? Again, I'm going to assume that you are not a permanent resident of the US. So we'll say no. Next question. What do you plan to do in Canada? You want to visit family, right? Do you plan to visit your children or grandchildren who are Canadian citizens or permanent residents of Canada for more than 6 months? So I'm going to again assume that you're just coming to visit a family member, and this family member is basically maybe your brother, your sister, you know, your father, your mother, not really your children, right? But if you're coming to visit your children or grandchildren who are Canadian citizens, then you will say yes to this question. But if you're just coming here to visit, say, your brother or sister, you'll say no to this. And it says you need a visitor's visa. Yes, you need a visitor's visa. So for visits of up to 6 months, for most purposes, you have to pay $100. So you can't stay more than 6 months at a time, you know. So again, to get details or more information about the visitor's visa that you need, we can click here. So let's click on this and see what happens. So if you want to learn more about the visitor's visa, I think it will help to read through the information on this page. So let's see who can apply. We've already determined that you are eligible, right? That you're eligible to come here. So you must meet some basic requirements to get a visitor's visa. You must have a valid travel document like a passport. You must be in good health. So good health means you're a healthy person, right? You have no criminal or no immigration related convictions. Again, you have to be able to convince the immigration officer that you have ties back home, right? Like a job, a home, financial assets, or family that will take you back to your home country. So you have to be able to convince the immigration officer that you're going to go back, and you have to have strong ties with, your country of origin, right? Strong ties means there's something that will take you back. Like the officer has to be convinced that you will go back. So you have to be able to convince the officer by showing proof that yes, okay, I'm just here to visit. I'll be going back to my country of origin. And again, you have to have enough money for your stay. The amount of money you will need depends on how long you want to stay here, right? So, and if you're going to stay in a hotel or with the friends or with relatives, then all these things will determine how much you need to have. So if you're saying, okay, I'm going to stay with my family member, then okay, we know, okay, you have a place to live. Probably the money you're going to bring will probably be lower than what you would be expected to bring if you're planning on staying in a hotel, right? So okay, that's that. So you need enough money. Now I don't know how much that is. You have to figure that out, really. But all the information you need, everything you can find on IRCC's websites. Okay, you may also need a medical exam and a letter of invitation from someone who lives in Canada. So you may need a medical exam. They'll tell you, they'll let you know. And then you can't say, oh, I want to come visit a family member just like that. It's what for me, I would advise that your family member here in Canada writes a letter of invitation, inviting you to come and visit, right? So that would show that that person actually is expecting you, wants you to come over. Okay, so check the list of documents you need based on your situation. You can click on these to find out more on the documents you need. Okay, so some people are not allowed to enter Canada, right? So people with criminal history, well, I guess the immigration officer will determine who is eligible or not. But again, it's saying here that some people are not admissible to Canada, which means they are not allowed to enter the country. You can be inadmissible for some several reasons, including being involved in criminal activity. It actually says that if you have a criminal background, you shouldn't have a criminal background, basically. That's what it's saying there. So people with criminal activity, human rights violations, organized crime, if you're involved in any of these, you're inadmissible. You won't be allowed to come into Canada, even if you have a visa. Okay, so if you're coming in with, say, minor children, you're traveling to Canada with minor children, information for you to read, make sure you read and understand everything. So say you have figured out that you're eligible, you have looked through the eligibility requirements and you're like, yeah, I qualify, yeah, everything looks good. Then the next thing would be for you to gather your documents and apply, right? But before we do that, let's see. There's a checklist right here. Check the list of documents you need based on your situation. So let's see the kind of documents you would need to apply based on your situation. So again, why are you visiting Canada? Say it's for a family visit. Who will you visit? Say you're coming to visit an immediate member. So pick whatever the best one for your situation. What's your family member's status in Canada? Let's say the person is a Canadian citizen. Do you plan to visit your children or grandchildren for more than 6 months? Say you don't have children. Well, just say you're not planning to visit any children or grandchildren. Do you qualify for the fully vaccinated traveler exemption? So you say yes. So these are a couple of documents. So these are the documents you would need, right? So just go through all of these. These are the documents you would need. Let me just give you a quick summary. Proof of vaccination, your arrive can receipt, electronic or paper, your letter of invitation. Again, they tell you if it's required or not, right? This is optional, but in my own, I would advise get everything you can get. So proof of relationship, you need it. Travel history, they say optional, but you can put it if you have it. Your itinerary says not it's optional, but if you have it, please put it. Account statement, it says no optional, but if you have it, please put it. Employer information, they say no optional, but I would advise put everything that you can put. Just make your application very strong. Put everything that would show the immigration officer that yes, you will go back home, right? Identity documents, that's your passport. Put statutory declaration of common law union. So depending on your situations, like there are so many other documents, so just read through the list and look through and pick the documents that apply to you or to your situation. But put as many documents as you can. You want to be able to convince the immigration officer that you're going back. So everything you need that you believe would convince the officer that yes, when you're done, enjoying here in Canada, you'll go back. Please add those documents. Okay, so let's go back to how to apply. Okay, before you apply for a visitor's visa, again, find out if you're eligible. We've done that. Get the documents you need. So gather your documents before you apply. Don't start applying before gathering. I would advise gather all your documents, gather everything, gather everything, and then apply. I like to do that, right? You have everything, and then you just put in your application at once. Well, if you cannot finish applying at once, remember you can always, save what you've done so far and then come back to finish up. Okay, so before you apply, check if you're eligible, get the required documents, find out what to do for your biometrics, fingerprints and a photo. So most applicants would need to give their biometrics if it's their first time of applying. So if you're coming for the first time, you're likely going to be asked to give your biometrics. Okay, so check check the steps to apply for a visitor's visa. Before we do that, get detailed instructions for your situation. You can fill this again to get detailed instructions for your situation. But let's see, check the steps to apply for a visitor's visa. Let's just open this and see what's here. Okay, there are, I think, three. Okay, not three. Okay, a couple of steps, maybe 4. So check if you're eligible to travel. Based on what we did, you are eligible, right? If you answered the questions the way I did. Step 2, get the documents that show you meet the criteria for a visitor's visa. Gather your documents, all the gatherables. And then you apply online. I think you can also apply on paper, right? I think so. Then once you've applied online, I think normally you would need to give your biometrics. So if your local visa application center is not open due to COVID-19, there are temporary measures in place for biometrics. So you have to give your biometrics if it's your first time of applying. Then you read how they process your application, and I guess they'll ask you to send your passport once they approve your application, and then you prepare for your travel. Good. Okay. So let's go back to this part. Let's get detailed instructions for your situation. I think we already did that, but again, let's feel it to see how you should go about applying. So why are you applying for a visitor's visa? Again, to unite with a family member. Get instructions. How to apply. To apply for a visitor's visa to join a family member who is in Canada. That's what you want to do, right? You say yes. So you need to apply for a visitor's visa through the Ircc portal. So again, let's click how to apply for a visitor's visa through the Ircc portal. So again, you must have figured out that you're eligible to travel, right? You must make sure you're eligible before you start applying, right? Don't take that chance, right? Okay, so now you're eligible. The next thing you have to do is you have to create an account and you have to be signed in. Then you complete the online form and upload the document, your documents, right? Then you pay with a credit card and you wait for them to contact you, right? Okay, so need an Ircc portal account. Say you don't have an account, you haven't created one in the past. You have to just, again, sign up and apply. Yeah. What would you like to do today? Apply for a visitor's visa for myself. Apply to basically, let me say you're applying for yourself. And do you already have an application in process? Say you don't have, no. And then we will contact you within 14 to 30 business days of getting your complete application. We won't respond to inquiries if your application was submitted within 30 business days. This is just for you to know, right? Just for your information, right? They will get back to you after you've submitted your complete application. 14 to 30 business days. So if you click on get an Ircc portal account, and this is where you come fill your email address, confirm your email address, and then you get the invitation code, and yeah, you can go ahead and put in your application. But say you already have an account, you've created an account with Ircc in the past, all you have to do is here, click sign in, and then you put in your login details and then sign in. Okay, so one more thing before I go. Okay, so after you've applied, what happens after you apply? Let's see. So after you apply, you'll be asked for biometrics. Of course, you'll be asked to go for biometrics, and then your visa processing application will continue. Before you travel, the documents you'll need, you should get them ready. Remember, you have to be fully vaccinated. Submit your information to the ArriveCan app. Proof that you're eligible to travel to Canada. Situations where you may need extra documents on arrival. So if you have a child with you, you were invited to come to Canada. Okay, basically after you've applied, you can go ahead and just digest the information on this page, and I think once you get that done, you'll be fine. I'm hoping that you'll be able to put in your application, and I'm trusting God for you that your application will be approved. Anyways, I hope this video has been able to help you. You're confident enough to go ahead, gather all your documents, and put in your application for a visitor's visa. Anyways, again, my name is Judith, and thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on your notification bell. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.